Um, I feel very honored and privileged to talk to you this morning. And I also feel very much honored and privileged to be invited to speak to great people like you. Educators are very, very important people in this society. We can pretend they are not, but all of us know that you are the guys. So Tufunzeni, by extension, Mr. Dennis and team, I want to thank you very much for thinking it wise to invite me to give my contribution. My name, as has been said, is Robert Omwa. The only sin that Tufunzeni did was not to add HSC to my name. My name is Robert Omwa, Head of State Commendation. I teach at Seme Teachers Training College in Kisumu, the only teachers training college in Kisumu. I am happy to speak here in front of my mentor, Nancy Okoth. Nancy Okoth, I feel very humbled to stand before you. Interestingly or funnily, most of my mentors are ladies. Interestingly, most of my mentors are ladies. So I think that one is reassuring to ladies who are here that your mentors can also be men. I think I said this in a certain forum, and 2 months later, a lady came to me and told me, I want you to mentor me because I heard you mention that most of your mentors are ladies. And I think I've done a good job. Bro, mbona unaniangalia ni kama we can do a good job as male mentors even to females, sindio? Yes. So mine is to speak shortly about cultivating empathy and belonging in schools. And our good MC, how many minutes do I have? Timer. It was 50. I've used 5 already. Oh my God. Now I have 40. Okay, what I want to speak about is something that I normally speak about for 6 weeks. So you can imagine the tension that I'm having here, having to condense everything in 40 minutes. I'm going to try. But I think my mission here is to invite us to start a conversation. I cannot finish this conversation here, but my mission is to find a way of us carrying on with this conversation. My students are seated in front here, so I may start behaving like a teacher, and I don't want. So I think the MC said that people should sit next to strangers. So the teacher in me is asking me to ask my students to move from here and go and sit next to a stranger. So Alf, Derrington, and Maureen, I want to see you next to a stranger. Munisamee, ni mwalimu sasa imeingia, ualimu. And thank you so much for doing that. Strangers change our lives. It's not the people who know who will change your life. Because the people you know already know you and already judge you. And they already think things about you. But my students, I want to tell you, that person you're sitting next to is the next big person on the TV screen. Sitaki useme one day, ati huyo mtu nilimuonanga kwa summit ile teacher Robert alituitanga. Get to know them. And when you live here, this is for all of us, me included, live with the phone number of a stranger. Nancy was once a stranger to me. Today I call her my mentor. Dennis was once a stranger to me. We met at a drama festival, national, and we sat on the grass and we talked, and today I'm here. Daktari was a stranger, but after listening to her presentation, the only thing remaining is taking her number. You never know. My good daughter may go to State House Girls, and I'll be flossing in the village telling people that my daughter anasoma State House Girls because I came to this summit and met Daktari. So, because time is so limited, I want to say that I want to try and just say in a nutshell that when empathy and belonging are woven into school culture, learners feel safe, valued, motivated. teachers experience greater joy and purpose in their work. Learners need to feel safe. Learners need to feel safe. You know what is happening in our schools. Sometimes we try and hide our head in the sand that they are not happening. But when we keep on getting stories like the one we just got the other day from Alliance of all the schools, it tells you that a lot is happening in our schools. I moved to teach in Summit Teachers Training College last year, and I was teaching at Sigoti Girls in Nyakach. And I want to say that part of moving from that school to Summit Teachers Training College was because I was tired. I was tired, literally, of seeing the things I was seeing. And I tried to fight them as an individual, and I realized as an individual, I would have fought myself. So I decided to step aside. Maybe that is a story for another day. But you who is here and myself, we know that there are so many things happening in our schools. And if belonging and empathy can make our children safe, then we need to talk about belonging and empathy. Belonging and empathy make our children feel valued. When Daktari said she told her teacher, yeah, I just felt she was talking about me. Because there was a day I told my teacher, yeah, and I got beaten up. But I don't know where that yeah came from. But I think it is a way of telling that teacher that I think I'm connecting with you. Can you imagine? Because you can't tell any other teacher yeah. But huyu mwalimu anaweza kuongelesha na umwambie yeah, it means kuna venye you've started to strike a relationship. Then this teacher scares you out of physics or beats me up the way my teacher beat me up because I said yeah. It means that was an opportunity for us to bond with that teacher, but it was squandered. Learners need to feel motivated. We will not talk about learners, and forget teachers. Because colleagues, can you give what you don't have? Can you give what you don't have? You can't. You can't give what you don't have. A cup that is full runneth over. But if these learners need empathy from me as a teacher, if these learners need belonging from me as a teacher, I first must have it before I give it to them. So I think this summit must and has already started talking about teachers. Because if the teacher is not talked about, then our learners will lose out. So I want you to feel seen, feel appreciated, feel loved. So together we can create a positive school culture. I have two photos on the slide there. One happened in a school in Kenya. The second one also happened in a school in Kenya. The first one, I don't know which school is that. The second one, I know the school. The first one was a teacher who was disciplining learners for having stolen something. And somebody took a photo, because now we have smartphones all over, and you can see that went viral. I want to believe those teachers were punished. These are not bad teachers. These are teachers who just felt they were doing the right thing. But I think there was something amiss with these teachers in terms of belonging and empathy. But that is the first school I taught in Nyahera. My home is just behind these hills. And that's the school I went to, and I found around 120 students. And by the time I was leaving, we had 300 students. 300 looks like a small number, but for me, it's a trophy for me because we worked together and changed the school culture, and children could smile. And behind there, they were actually holding their first election in the school. And they drew themselves, and they were campaigning, and they were so happy. I think that's the essence of this summit. Because this summit is talking about learning with joy. Cindy? Yeah. learning with joy. And those children there are indeed joyful. Did you know that the fundamental goal in life is to be happy? Yeah. That everything that we do in life, the end goal is to be happy. But you can imagine how sometimes we go through a lot of suffering just to be happy. Why should we postpone that happiness? I think we can be happy now. Now. As you seated there, I know all of us are going through things. All of us are going through things. Some you may not even share with anybody. But even our students, I think they have a right to be happy now when they're in class. I used to tell students that the roots of education are bitter and the fruits are sweet. Sahi nimeshafundisha close to 20 years. Bado nangoja hizo fruits sweet. I'm not saying the situation is that bad, but I'm saying we need to help our learners to enjoy being in class. We need to help our teachers to enjoy teaching those learners. There is no better situation. Walimu wenye mko hapa mko TSC. You remember how our salary was delayed last month? With great anticipation, we waited for that salary hike. Na ililand na 29 bob. 29 bob. Watu waliangalia hiyo kiti hivi wakasema hii ni mchezo gani? You can imagine. But the government is happy. We've added them salary. And now they are quiet. They can't go on streets. We cannot go on the streets because we've been added that salary. But it's 29 shillings. So that salary will not make me happy. It will not make you happy. Those learners will still have to be happy whether they fail or not. And I know that is countercultural. But I was having a conversation the other day with somebody. And he was telling me that when KCSE results are out, actually close to 80-90% of the students who wana fail. Wanapatanga D na hizi marks zingine. Na hao watu hawaendangi nchi ingine, wanabaki hapa. They are our drivers, they are our cooks, they are our teachers, they are our sisters and brothers. So it is true, the organizers of this summit, that the fundamental goal of life is to be joyful, and that joy has to be in our classrooms, and you and I as a teacher have to do something to make it happen. So in 2015, I was trained by Plan International and Teacher Service Commission. And Nancy used to work for Plan International, and I believe she still works for Plan International even today. And I'm that teacher who was trained. Guys, I was in that school where you saw those children. I've looked for a photo, but yenye nilipata, nilisema nisiweke kwa slides, juu ingechoma. Wazee nilikuwa nimeparara, hata mafuta ilikuwa inanikataa. Ilikuwa shida. But when I was trained by Nancy and the staff from TSC, I asked myself that what if I took this and ran with it? What if I took this training and not make it like any other training? Because remember, even our coming here today, for somebody it will be like just any other summit or workshop. But for one person in this place, it will be life-changing. It will be like the day I went to that summit, things changed for me. So that's what I decided. And one of the speakers gave this quote, and I hold it dear, like 15 years later, 10 years later, that if you stand, you will stand tallest if you kneel down to help a child. And that is something that I want to say has moved me. And I want to invite somebody in this room to take that as a mantra, to kneel down to help a child, because ultimately it will make sense. I want to pause that a bit and move to an activity called two lists. And then I'll come and connect with where this quote is, and then we move on. So I want us to look at the two lists. And I want to invite a stranger to help me type something here. So any volunteer? Leave volunteer? Quick volunteer to run forward to come and help me? Wow, asante sana. Asante sana. So you're helping me to train for a moment. So you'll sit here and our good participants will say some words and you'll just help me type them there and we'll be able to see them on the slides. So, ulisema nisimame hapa. Is it? It's not active. So how do we make it active?
Maybe a slideshow.
Okay, please do that. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, 2 lists. Now, in these 2 lists, can you make it bigger? Or if it's, okay. Now, I want us to take a moment and get back to our institutions. For a moment, think of some of the learners you work with. What are some of the challenges that you or a teacher that you know normally experiences with their learners? Yes, Robert? Fighting. Thank you, Robert. Noise making. Thank you, MC. Another one? Laziness. Thank you. Late coming. Thank you. And don't mind spelling. Yes. Timidity. Thank you. Yes. Truancy. So maybe you can add just next to each. You can add maybe to weke mbili mbili, then we move to the next part. Okay. Beautiful. Another one? Yes. Absenteeism. Let's have 2 more. 2 more. The challenges are so many. It's just, okay, Robert, yes. Untidiness. Yes. Poor content retention. Another one. Another challenge, yes. Poor time management. Okay, let's make do with those. I know the list can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. All right. So those are the challenges that we are experiencing with the learners that we are working with. Let's move to the other part of the list. This is called 2 lists. So the other part of the list, I want us to take a moment and imagine. Yes, imagine. Because this summit is a summit for dreamers. Dennis himself is a dreamer. And we've also come to dream with Dennis. Because I was telling him outside there that what Dennis is seeing for education in this country, very few of us are seeing. And we pray that God helps us to see what he's seeing. Because indeed he's seeing something. So I want us to take a moment and imagine 30 years down the line, somebody knocks on your door. And when somebody knocks on your door, 30 years from now, that's scary. Maybe I'll be retired. Maybe, Alf, I don't know where you'll be 30 years from now. But 30 years from now, that student you were teaching back then is standing by the door, they knock, and you move to that door. Before you open it, you're almost opening that door, and you're sure it's your student. What kind of student do you pray is there? What are some of the characteristics and social life skills do you want to see in that learner as a teacher? Characteristics and life skills. We are imagining 30 years down the line, a knock at the door, and then you're praying that when you open that door, You meet this student that you're teaching maybe this year or last 10 years, standing by that door. Which kind of characteristics do you pray that he or she has? Yes, Robert, organized? Another one? Yes? Responsible. Yes? Empowered. Thank you. Another one? All of us are dreamers, and we love our children, our learners. We pray for them every day. I saw a hand. Yes. Say that again. Empathetic. Thank you. Empathetic. Another one. Another one. Yes. Informed. Thank you. Another one. Yes. Respectful. Another one. Teachers, let's speak. God is here. He's listening to these prayers. He will answer them. You never know. What dream do you have for that learner? They'll come visiting. For sure, they'll come visiting. What kind of characteristic do you pray you see in them? Social life skill? Another one? Yes. Focused. Thank you. Another one? Yes. Inspired. Thank you. And maybe the last one? Open-minded and motivated. Thank you. Now let's look at that second list. When we create a school with positive culture, when we create a school with positive culture, and that practices what we call positive discipline, it helps us to move from list A to list B. And look at list B. Okay, before you look at the second list, let's give a hand. Thank you so much. If you look at list A, you realize that these challenges are actually cutting across. They're in my school, they're in your school, they're in every school. In every county, in every sub-county, in every country, children in China have poor content retention. Absenteeism is an issue. Laziness is an issue in Mexico. Trance is an issue in Canada. Fighting is an issue in Kibera. I taught in Kibera once, and most teachers there were saying, watoto wa kijiji wanasumbua sana. Then I came to teach in Kisumu. Then teachers there were saying, watoto wa ushago wanasumbua sana. Then I came to teach in Aria, right in the heart of Kisumu here. And the teachers were like, watoto wanasumbua sana. Unajua, they are too exposed. And then I realized, I concluded that watoto wote wanasumbua. Kuna mtoto mwenye ni mzuri. Watoto wote wanasumbua. Wa kijiji Kibera, wa ushago Nyahera, wa city center, wa wapi. They are the same. So you as a positive school culture advocate or a positive discipline teacher, we have to note that children are just being children. And sometimes we adults, we want to pretend that children should be perfect. And us, don't question us. Just imagine, uko tuna maziwa kikombe kimoja, ndio unataka kutengeneza chai. Na ukitembea tu kwa hivi kwa nyumba uigonge, tandana. Na imemwagika. So utaunda tu strong tea na maisha yaendelee. Lakini kama ni mtoto, umenizoea. Babako ananisumbua. Na wewe pia umeanza. So when you talk about empathy and belonging, it means we have to really think in the shoe of the child, step in the shoe of the child, and be very considerate. But we are saying changing the school culture and practicing positive discipline will help us to move from list A to list B. And if you look at the second list, one shocking thing in where everywhere I've done this training is that that second list normally do not have Okay, sometimes it appears, but they don't have things that we normally think are very, very important. I've never heard participants saying this student should appear having loads of money, or driving a Ferrari, or having a loaded bank account. Mostly, there are things that are actually free, like being organized, being responsible, being empathetic, being respectful, being inspired. These are the very precious things that we want to see in our learners. And teachers rarely actually mention things to do with academics, interestingly. But you and I will agree that if our learners have these traits, and we've just listed a few, if they have these traits, they will automatically be successful in life. True or false? Hata kama amepata E, si ndio? Yeah. Hata kama amepata E na ako organized, ako responsible, ako motivated, ako open-minded, they are set up for success in life. So it is very, very important that we take note of that. Let me ask a question. How do children learn? How do children learn? Yes. Through imitating. Yes. Through imitating. So if children learn through imitating, and we have agreed that we want to move from these challenges to this other list, then it means that what we do as adults really matter. What we do as adults really matter. How we react to misbehavior really matter. Does it teach the learners things in list A or things in list B? How we react, how we speak, how we walk, how we talk, because these children indeed are seeing. Can you imagine? I come to school late. I come to class late. And I tell my learners to observe time. I don't know which one they are following. Let's do a simple activity. Let's make a circle with our index finger and our thumb. Let's show me that circle. Thank you. I want you to take that circle and just do what I say. Just do what I say kindly. Take that circle and bring it slowly, slowly, and put it on your, let's go together, on your chin. Let's put it on our chin. Let's put it on our chin. Very good, very good. Angalia mwenzako kama ameweka kwa chin ama ameweka kwa cheek. Angalia tu, ameweka kwa chin ama cheek. Yes. Nilisema bring it on your chin. I said chin. Na chin ni hapa. Mimi nikaweka wapi? Wangapi waliweka na mimi kwa hapa ni wapi? Aha, wangapi waliweka na mimi hapa? Almost a good number, but kuna wengine walikuwa rada. But you realize that most of us did what I did, not what I said. Thank you. That one tells us that no matter how much we speak, children will do what we are doing. And that's, for me, it's a very heavy burden, because I know sometimes I also don't walk what I talk. But it's a challenge for me to try and walk what I talk, because my students, my learners, even my children in the house, will definitely do the things that I do, not the things that I say. Even if I say them so eloquently, what I do is what really matters. But if we have to bring this to our classes and in creating a positive school culture, then it means that how we react to issues is very, very important, because these learners are seeing and they are coping. Some people said it's monkey see, monkey do. When a child fights in class, personally, I used to just ask them to lie down, both of them, give them 6 of the best, they go to class. But if you're saying children learn what they see, what have they learned? That dawa ya moto ni? Yes. So they've actually learned that when somebody fights, they're supposed to be fought back. But what if I decided to model the difference? If I decided to sit them down, talk with them so that they know that it is not right to fight and they can iron out their issues and they can solve their challenges amicably, then they will learn that if we have challenges, then you can sit down and talk. But if I beat this learner up, they are learning that violence is actually a solution to challenges. That's why Tufunze has invited us here to reimagine. Oh my God, I don't know why I love that word. To reimagine. That is scary because if you're being asked to reimagine, then you're being asked to do something that is counterculture, something that is not usual. Oh my God, personally, and most of people I know like flowing with the flow. So if we're being invited here to reimagine, it means we are being invited to rethink those classrooms. We are being invited to rethink our disciplinary measures. We are being invited to rethink education. And education will not change because a minister of education has come up with policy. But I'm very sorry to say this. You guys who come from Nairobi, don't report me. But I think most people who are being even appointed into the Ministry of Education are actually the most clueless guys. But the person who understands education than anybody else is you. You who sits in that classroom, you who deals with those learners, you who teaches every morning. But those guys, they will not change education. Education will be changed by you and I. That's why this conversation of reimagining learning cannot happen in a crowd. If you came here and you're like, no, this hall was not supposed to be full. How can it be full? And dangerous people are having a meeting here to reimagine education. Only few people can be in such a meeting. By the way, sasa mmeanza kuwa wengi, I'm worried. Ile namba nilipata ya kwanza ndio ilikuwa inanifurahisha because dangerous people are the only ones who can reimagine and say to hell with this system of doing things, and we are charting a new way, and people will beat you up and they'll say you're crazy, you're overthinking, why are you doing that work? Who is paying you to do that? So reimagining for me is a very, very powerful word. So the power of modeling. Children learn what we teach. And there comes positive discipline. Now, I want us, and I said that this summit is about education. There is no education without the teacher because the teacher cannot give what they don't have. So we must talk about taking care of the teacher. We must take care of ourselves. And I want us to look at an activity called brain in the palm. Brain in the palm of the hand. We are simply looking at how the child's brain works and how the teacher's brain works. We want to make it very simple and bring it in our hands. So I want to ask us to raise one of our hands. I'm not going to make you raise your hand for long. Okay, let's do this. Thank you. Thank you. You're not being sworn in. You will be sworn in later. But now, I just want us to bring our brain in our hands. And I hope it's okay to put this mic down. Thank you. Yes, because I need my hand. Now, so this is our brain. This part here, and I want you to touch with me. This is the brainstem. This is the brainstem. And it is this part of the brain that is connected to our spinal cord. And the function of this part of the brain is for survival, for fight, flight, and freeze. So when you're exposed to danger, you'll either fight, you'll either freeze, or you will fight, flight, and freeze. So if a lion walks in right now, those three things will happen. You'll either fly. Kuna mtu utamuona huko chini anamwambia kujeni, shuka, mimi nimeshashuka. Huyo ni mtu amefly na ajui hawezi explain alifikaje huko. Flight. Kuna mtu ata freeze. Kuna mtu atakaa tu hapo penye amekaa. Labda you'll see some liquid flowing. Ozie sasa amesema simba ama Mungu ni mimi na wewe, simba wewe fanya chenye unataka. It is this part of the brain. And then the third one is the fight. Kuna mtu ataamka hapa na ataface huyo simba. Na labda atamrarua mdomo na tutakuwa safe. Those things happen when we are exposed to danger. And the stem of the brain is that part of the brain that helps us with that. Then we have the midbrain. So we are going to fold your middle finger like that. This part is called the midbrain. The function of this middle part of the brain is to store information. This part of the brain also stores emotions, things that happened to us when we were young. And they can still come out, even in our adulthood. Me and you, sometimes we react to issues, mpaka tunashangaa, mbona nilireact hivyo? Mbona kitu hiyo mtu alisema ilinikasirisha? And we can't explain. Most of them are stored in the amygdala. This part is called the amygdala. And it is that part of our brain that stores emotions. Then I'm going to ask you to close that middle part of the brain. And now let's look at this part of the brain. We have the back. It's called the cortex. The cortex is that back part of the brain, and it helps with planning. It helps with thinking. And then we have the prefrontal cortex, which are the nails here. This part helps with reasoning. It helps with learning, but it also helps us to sense emotions in other people. You see sometimes where you can get to a room and you can sense that people are sad, or you can sense that people are motivated, or you can sense that there's a problem here. It's the prefrontal cortex. Now, when our brain is in this state, we say that we've closed our lid. When we've closed our lid, it means our brains are connected and we are calm. We are calm. When we are in this state, you realize that different parts of our brains are connected and we can reason, we can learn, we can do different things. But when we are triggered by what somebody has said or by a behavior in class, like some of them that we listed down here, we actually flip our lid. So can we move together from closed lid to flipped lid? Very good. Close, flip. Close, flip. Thank you. So when you're at this state, when your lid is flipped, you cannot learn. You cannot learn because your faculties are not connected. And even children who have flipped lids cannot learn. A teacher of CRE has just left the class, and they had a fight with the learners. And the learners are in this state. And you walk in so composed and ready to teach. And you walk in, and you stand in front of the learners, and all of them are like flipped. Will that lesson be successful? No. Most probably, if you're dealing with somebody who has a flipped lid, then chances are that you'll also have your lid flipped. Then that calls for us to find ways of helping our learners if we find them in flipped lids. And learners can flip their lids for very many reasons. It could be family reasons, it could be diet reasons, it could be the social environment where they come from. And then you realize that if they are in that state, then we can't teach them. We have to help them to come here. But not only for our learners, even for us. When we are in this state, we cannot teach. That's why I want to ask, what do you normally do when you find yourself in a situation where your leads are flipped? Because we've said teachers cannot give what they don't have. So what do you normally do to help calm yourself whenever you find yourself in a situation where you are having flipped leads? Someone once told me that for them, they take water, take a glass of water, and it helps them calm down. Somebody else told me that they sleep. When they sleep, they're okay. What about you? You mange, you eat. And when you eat, it helps you calm down. That's very important. Colleagues, kindly let's share, because you don't know you are helping somebody here. Somebody didn't know that if you eat, it can be helpful. But didn't know if you sleep, it can be helpful. What do you do? Yes, I saw a hand behind there. Or somebody else. Okay. What do you do? You count 1 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And by the time you reach 9, somebody told me they count 9 to 1. 9 to 1 actually even distracts your brain, because you'll be like, from 7 to nandanga gani? 6. By the time you reach 1, hata kama ulishaamua ku eat that student alive, unasema wewe na kuua leo, because you're now flipped. By the time you're done that, you're okay. Somebody else, what do you do? Yes. Take a walk. Thank you. Another one? Yes. Listen to music. Prince Inda Manani. Country music does it for you. Aha. Yes. You write. You journal. Okay. Just try. Oh, you put down the feeling. Aha. Just write it down. By the way, I just discovered that the other day, and I realized it works miracles. The time my brain was just almost blowing up. And I was like, what's happening? Then I started writing. Then I realized I've written 2 pages. Then as I was moving to the 3rd page, so that works for me as well. What about you? Take a nap. Yeah, usingizi inakuja. Kuna wengine hapa lead ikiflip hata hiyo nap haikuji. They are awake the whole night. But for him, the sleep comes, and when he wakes up, he's good to go. Yes, you sleep. Huh? You scream. And it works, by the way. Mwalimu Odero is my friend. Thank God I've never heard him scream. He's one guy who is so calm, when he speaks like he has the whole world under his feet. But now I've learned his trick. Just the same way Delilah did to that guy. I've known where Odero gets his strength from. He screams. So maybe he goes to a forest somewhere, or he closes the door and he's like, Hey, sit to learn. Are we learning? Hello? Are we learning from ourselves? Yes. Mm. Oh. You memorize those lines. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
After I read it, I tried to memorize.
Yes.
Line by line. It struck me completely.
Yes.
And by the time I'm done, I am as even more calm than earlier before I got quit.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Oh my God. Just flip that bottomless pit called TikTok. But then kuna mtu amefika mwisho. Unaendanga tu hivi. Pa, 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 pa. But it works for you. Yeah? Oh, yes. You read a storybook. Pick a nice one. Thank you so much. Read a storybook. I'm so happy the children are sharing. Because sometimes we think, oh, unajua watoto wananga stress. But then unajua watoto wako na stress kubwa hata kuliko zetu. Thank you so much for sharing. Nancy, did I see your hand up? Mm. 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 Wow. Wow. I don't know about you, but for me, I'm learning and I'm going home with tools. The last one, yes. Oh, men don't cry. Yeah, men can also cry. And can also cry. And can also cry. And when you're done crying, you feel good. You feel good. And men, you're allowed to cry. And I know the list can go on and on and on. And when we'll be having our break, you can ask that person. Apart from the ones that were mentioned when Robert was facilitating, which one else do you think works for you? Because I know there's somebody in this room who has a powerful one, but we've not just given them an opportunity. So when you talk about calming our brain, it is very important because we need to take care of ourselves as educators. We need to take care of ourselves as teachers because nobody will take care of us. It is us first. Before we give our lives to those children, we need to check in and see, are we okay? We also need to normalize checking in on our friends. The other day, a friend of mine called me. Akaniambia, Robert, you used to post so much on Facebook. What happened? And I said, yes, we need such people in this world. Mimi ni jamani nilikuwa na post kwa Facebook ambapo kama ungechunga you'd see only my post in your timeline. Ungeona tu post zangu mpaka chini mpaka ucheck kama Facebook yako iko na problem ama ina. But it's true nowadays I've toned down. But I think it also comes with age. Because I was also asking myself, how comes I don't post much? And the other day I was traveling to Nairobi and then the bus had a tire burst. And everybody was coming around and taking a photo. But for me, I was indifferent. I was like, why are they doing that? But before I finished judging them, I was like, Robert, remember yourself those 5 years ago, you'd be taking the best photos and posting. So some of these things come with age. But what am I saying? Sometimes if you see someone so lost, just check on them. For me, I'm maybe going through a phase in my life, which is okay, and I understand what I'm doing. But not everybody who gets lost is actually okay. Let's normalize checking on people. Yes. Okay. Sawa sawa. So problems are opportunities to teach. And your voice really, really matters. I just took a collection of so many photos of myself speaking to different groups. This one here, I believe you can see it. We had a sports day deep in the village when I was teaching in primary school and just talking to children about safety. And my colleagues would always ask me, why are you doing those things? Who is paying you? I didn't know who was paying me. I told them nobody. And we would go to schools, like in this specific school, we went and when we reached that school, all the teachers left the school and left the children in the room. We spoke with them. Then when we were done, we didn't even know what to do with them. Because they were like, oh, hawa watu wakuongea na watoto wamekuja, so sisi wacha tuende nyumbani. Then we walked like 4 kilometers from that school. This is another one in the community. Why am I sharing these photos with you? As a teacher, your voice matters. And you must believe in something. Walimu, you must believe in something. That's why we've come here to dream. If you don't dream, this country will not change. This country will only change in the hands of a teacher. So when you believe that our learners should be safe, speak it out. When you believe that our schools can be better, speak it out, because it makes a whole difference. And take photos. Kindly take photos. Because one day you'll get an opportunity like the one I'm having now. Then you'll be like, which photo can I use? So take photos. Hawa watu wanapiga picha hata kutumia picha. Piga picha. Take photos. You see, here I got an opportunity to be awarded by the president. That's why I am called an HSC. I made a lot of noise until Uhuru Kenyatta had in 2019, and I was awarded with a head of state commendation. And as you can see, thank you. I also got an opportunity to go to the US, and I went to State House. Everybody takes a photo here. And interestingly, I found people who were picketing, and they were also picketing for children. So this, I had nothing to do with this poster, but I told that lady, let's take a photo because you're speaking to my heart. People will always bring people who are connected to you somehow. And this is, I was making a presentation in a positive discipline conference in Connecticut. And this photo here is actually this photo here. So you can see why we need to take photos, because this photo is now being used very many thousands of miles away, and it matters. I also got an opportunity to go and study abroad because of making noise about children's rights and child protection. And you can see I'm somewhere here, very black and fine with it. But that was at the University of Sussex, where I had gone to study for free for a whole year. That is what I want to see for people who attended this summit. That you'll call me and tell me, Robert, you told us you went to study for free, and then now you've come back to your country and now you're speaking about it. I want to also do the same. And all of us should be at that level, because what you're doing matters. And someone who is not in this room should not talk to us about getting these opportunities. But you who is here, and they are there. There are so many opportunities for teachers. I think it's because we have confined ourselves to classroom and looking at that salary increase of 29 shillings, we have become so dejected. But I want to tell you today that you are very powerful. You are a very powerful human. And you can change the situation in that classroom. And with these strangers that you're seeing here, so I think because of time, I will not go to the nitty-gritties of positive discipline, but I really wish to have done that. But I said when I was starting that I've just come here to ask you to find a way of proceeding with this conversation, because everything I've said is actually useless. This is the most important thing I should have talked about. But it's a 6 weeks thing, so if I don't do it in 40 minutes, I'm still okay with myself, because I want us to have this conversation. What is positive discipline? What is class meeting? Because that is very revolutionary. For me, when you talk about a child's behavior, it is just the tip of the iceberg. What we are not seeing is what is actually the essence of this summit: the need for belonging and significance. Learners need to feel that they belong. That everything a learner does that we call misbehavior is actually their way of looking for significance and belonging. It is their misguided way of looking for significance and belonging. And adults, children, everybody need to know that they are seen and they belong and they are significant. If you try to show somebody that they are not significant, my friend, you will see fire. Do you know some of the children misbehaving in our classrooms are not bad people, but it's because we have assumed them so much, or they have a lot of energy and we have pushed them down. They're like, hata kama ni kuvuta bangi nijulikane niko kwa hii shule nitavuta. Hata kama ni kuwa rude. By the way, some children are rude not because they are rude, but because you have not involved them much. And you people know, some of them when made leaders in schools, they overnight become angels. It's because of significance and belonging. Even your wife or your husband, try ignoring them. Nenda tu kwa nyumba na uko tu hivi. The next day, utamaliza 3 days, utaona fire. Wewe ndio utapiga magoti useme mami, tufanye nini? Unajua napenda peace. Unapenda peace na wewe ndio ulinyamaza. You can't ignore people. Even in the staff room, there are teachers who have not thrived in some schools. But immediately they are given a transfer, they do so well in the next school. It's because in this school, they were not seen, they didn't belong. So this is a very, very huge topic that I may not speak to now. But these are some of the comments that my students wrote when we implemented positive discipline with them. And I have a small blog that I run. So if you look for robertomwa.com, you'll be able to see my experiences with class meetings. And I've said I am not training us. I just want us to begin a conversation because it is revolutionary. It changes classroom. If a student says something like, I would like to comment on how you normally conduct our class meeting. I love the method you usually use because I have never seen any class teacher doing so. I would like to tell you to continue with the method because it is the easiest. Learners felt it was the easiest. Learners felt they've never seen that before. And these were from 3 students in Nyakach where I used to teach. And some even said, you need to send this to other classes. So because of time, I can also not talk much about positive discipline. But I want to say, not everybody will see things from where you see them. And that's very normal. That's very normal. Because if you look at that image, what do you see? Just shout what you see. Rabbit. Somebody else? Duck. Imagine. Sisi watu wakubwa, tunaona the same thing tofauti. So it's normal. If some of you think we should not take care of learners, that's still okay with them. If you think this is a very important course, yes, go with it. But we will always see things differently, and it is normal. What about that? Who is right? Is that a 6 or a 9? So inategemea unaiangalia from wapi. Yeah. So for you, if you leave this summit and you're like, I think we need to do things differently, don't start even doubting yourself because you're right. But if we speak and you feel like you people, you're planning to pamper children, then you are also right. Because we see things from different lenses. I've said this was just an introduction. This is like a whole list of positive discipline tools that I would like to talk to you about. I may not do it now, but I want to believe we will somehow find a forum where we can have this conversation. I want to end with this video that tells us that we need to change the culture of our schools because it matters long time.